For those of you who don't know, so I'm Tijan Niam. I've been working in the AI space for a long time now. Stanford was an early employee at Coursera, helped to build the first online machine learning classes, was at Google Brain for a few years doing applied research, and now working on a startup called Lutra, where we're trying to help more people automate things. Is my screen being shared? Yeah, can you see that? Perfect. There we go. Yeah, so let me resize this a bit so it's a bit bigger. That's okay. So at Lutra, what we are doing is that we're going after what I think of the, you know, automatable task hours, right? So there's 62%, and this is a McKinsey report in 2023, where we think that 62% of technology in 2023, we can automate that amount of task, right? And the question there is, how do we get there? How do we enable people to automate more? So as you heard Nathan earlier, he actually used Lutra to go through all the speakers and figure out a bio for every speaker that he can use in his introductions. But doing that is not easy. So let's talk about why that is not and how Lutra comes in the picture. So one of the problems in automation is that when you think about automation, you start thinking about this, complicated diagrams where people are like wiring things up, figuring things out, and there's often a very high setup cost involved in creating these automations. And you need to sit down and really, figure out end-to-end workflows, processes, and that cost can be very high in terms of automating something that prevents us from actually doing any work in automation. So instead of doing that, there's a new future I think that's coming that many of us are very excited about in this room in this AI Day Summit, which is what if AI can take on a bigger role for us in going from idea to execution? Now, what is it like if instead of a person having to wire things up and figure out all the details of the automation, we can have AI that designs, runs, debugs, and creates these automations for you? What would that look like? And will we be able to really automate much more easily? So a lot of the concepts in here, a lot of what you see are going to be very much like AI agents, agentic solutions. So instead of telling what we're working on, I'm going to show you instead how this works. So I'm going to share my separate demo screen in here. Uh, Perfect, thank you. So this is Lutra, and this is the platform that we've developed. It is conversational, in which you can talk to it, it will proceed to do things. And I'm going to do a demo in which I'm going to connect Lutra to a Gmail account. So this is a demo Gmail account where you can imagine getting emails about different topics. Let's say you're a podcaster and you're getting emails about guests being on your podcast, sponsorship opportunities, or maybe listeners reaching out to you. And you got to figure out which are the most important ones to answer. Usually the guest ones are really important. So in Lutra, you can conversationally tell it what you want it to do. Hey Lutra, could you go and find emails in my Gmail labeled with demo? So I labeled all the emails with demo, and now I'm giving Lutra an instruction to go find them. And Lutra takes my English instruction and figures out how to convert that into software, into code and actions that then retrieve and get those emails. So you can see here it is running, is searching my Gmail for label demo, and it's showing me the results as it goes. And so one thing we're thinking about building agentic systems, it's really important to have that user experience that transparently shows users what happens, allows them to dig in further if they want to, also allow them to interact with the platform in a very natural way. So in this case, I'm going to ask it to do a next step here, which is to classify the emails. Lutra, could you categorize these emails into categories such as podcast sponsorship, a guest email, a listener feedback, someone trying to sell me something, or something else, another category? Oh, and let's put all these categories and emails that you find into a new Google spreadsheet. Great. So in this case, I'm going to tell Lutra a next step in here. Now it's gotten all my emails. A very natural thing to do that you might want to do is to make sense of them, analyze them, extract information from them. If you're working as a person in shipping, you might want to extract out shipping details of where things are going, the delays, and so on. You have in finance, you want to get things out like the invoice line numbers, when the invoices are due. Very similar work in here, just that in this case, we're doing a demo on podcast emails. Right, so Lutra is natively integrated into many systems, including Google Spreadsheets. And so when it works with the spreadsheets, we have created an artifact-like experience where you can see what it does as it's processing. Right. So over here, Lutra has created a Google Sheet showing me inline what the Google Sheet looks like. And then it's proceeding now to classify all the emails using an AI classifier behind the scenes. Right. So this is an AI calling a separate AI function that goes on to do work there. Right. And so this whole UX experience, I think, is also really important because one thing that we notice from users is that when something is happening, they like to know what's going on because is the AI keeping on track? Is it going off the rails? And being able to see what the AI is doing at every step helps them understand that. You can also click into here and actually see how the AI is performing the task. So in this case, we are using another LLM to do the categorization, and Lutra has essentially created its own prompt for that LLM to do the classification. Cool. So now we see the emails coming out, being classified, subjects, categories, and they look pretty good to me. And the next step in here that you might want to do is to do like further work and extraction, right? So for example, maybe you like to say, hey, Lutra, could you find for those emails that are guest requests that you found, could you extract out the guest name and the company or organization they're affiliated with from the body of that email? Let's create a new worksheet for this data. So we can now ask Lutra to do more and more in here. And as you kind of do more and more, what happens here is that Lutra is in the background figuring out all the different APIs you can work with, all the different actions, composing across them, and making that work for you. So I do know that this audience is a pretty technical audience. So one of the things that could be interesting for this audience is to know like what's happening behind the scenes. What is Lutra doing here that's making this work? So whenever Lutra is running, we are doing a agentic operation that actually runs through software. So Lutra actually generates code behind the scenes to do this task. So this is all code Lutra generates with prompts, with different details in there, and then it's able to run and execute that code to achieve its goals. So if you guys are familiar with systems like Kodak or Small Agents, I know has a part of this as well. We are working down that path where we're making it very code oriented as well. So over here we see the second worksheet being created by Lutra, and you can see date, guest names, company, email subjects, and these things start to fill in here. So it's one of these things we can now. These are all test emails, by the way. So sample names. So if I went here and click on like this email in the Gmail inbox, you can see Sarah Murray, UCSF Health, and this is pulling it out exactly from the emails itself, right? Making it really easy to work with. So one thing that we have noticed is that in organizations, it's often not just about getting work done faster, but the bigger goal is to automate something, right? So if you are automating something in your organization, Lutra could be an interesting solution because we can now quickly go from a conversation like this into a reusable playbook that anyone can use. Right. So in this case, I'm asking Lutra to take that conversation, that process that we just did, and say, could you make it into something that I can run again on a regular basis, or run it with different inputs, and create that reusable workflow for me? Right. I'm able to, see what Lutra has decided I can change. I can see what Lutra's plan is, and then after that, I can say, create a playbook, and it will then now add this knowledge of a process into the AI's memory. Right. I think this is also a kind of important concept in here, in which a lot of times AI comes to us. It is really just raw intelligence without any understanding about the processes our company wants to use or a business wants to use. So figuring out how to imbue the AI with the process memory, procedural memory is really important. And so this is done. Now we can see review this, and then now this is a process that anyone can run on a scheduled basis automatically, right? And so this is Lutra in a nutshell. So if you're in a company looking at agentic automation systems, this is an interesting platform to consider because we also allow our users to bring in custom integrations into Lutra so that you can get all of the chat conversational interfaces out of the box working for you. And you don't have to worry about figuring those pieces out in there. Okay. I'm going to switch back to my slides in here. Let me do that. Mhm. Cool. So that was Lutra in a nutshell. So what we're doing is really the concept, what I call the concept of zero code AI automation, right? And traditional automation and traditional tools, a lot of them still require us as the end user of it to need to go in there, change things up, click, drag and drop. And then when automation fails, when things fail and this big diagram stops working, it's really challenging to debug and fix that. So one of the things that's really nice about AI was that when AI becomes the central component that does all of the pieces for you, designs, runs, and debugs it, we become more free, right? So what we have seen from user feedback so far is that your day changes. It's not just that AI automates for you; it's that you can shift your time from the work that was very repetitive, rote, and mundane to doing things that are way more high valued in a day-to-day basis. And that I think is a big shift that's coming, and I think that's a shift that all of us in this community are super excited about enabling. Cool. In fact, I think that might be all I have for things. I'm not sure if people on the stream have any questions or anything that you'd like to bounce ideas on, and I'm happy to chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lutra is an amazing product. I just wanted to share like how I've personally been using Lutra. So there's kind of like two things that I tried to use Lutra for that, it was able to do that like ChatGPT like really couldn't do, and you can just imagine like if Jaquan and his team built like an amazing product and they kept going, like how amazing the technology could be. So the first thing I was actually trying to do is we're going to be launching this item essentially sometime soon called like the Armor Institute. And the idea of the Armor Institute is we want to have all these different events in different locations. And to kind of do that across the USA in a way that's like really scalable. So with Lutra, I was able to just search in, hey, I'm looking to host AI events in location Boston and location DC and location Los Angeles. And what was really cool is I was able to search the web, extract all this information, put in a spreadsheet, let me update the spreadsheet in real time, and get both venues, speakers, and as much information I can to help me automate a process that would have otherwise like took me weeks, right? So very, very cool. And the second kind of use case is like as I was preparing for this AI Day summit, we have a lot of speakers that are all amazing, and all of them deserve really amazing introductions. So I use Lutra to really quickly go through the web and actually help craft really amazing introductions to help introduce the speakers. Two things that otherwise would have just taken me so much time. So thank you, Jiquan.
No, and thanks, Nathan, for using our platform, because send us all feedback. And I think you hit the nail on the head, right? Which is like these some of these tasks, like we know how to do it, we know how to tell the AI how to do it, but the hard part is like, can the AI compose and orchestrate across all its actions, all its tools to do it, right? And I think with Lutra, we're taking a particular approach to it that is very code oriented, and super excited to see what the community builds. And yeah, if any of you are interested to chat more and be in touch, we'd love to connect. Yeah.